Hello everyone and welcome to this fly tying video. Today we're going to tie the Candy Cane Nymph, and here you can see the finished fly. Usually I don't show this, but in this, I would say, special occasion I have also an announcement to make, and the announcement I hope will not change too much of what's going to be here, but I'm now starting to work full-time in a fly shop. So I'm really excited about that, but that also means that I will not be able to do as many videos per week as I've been doing. For now I've been doing 2 videos per week, and I am cutting this down to 1 video per week, as I will mostly focus on my work in the fly shop, but I will for sure try to make as many videos that I can, but I'm just a little heads up that there won't be as many videos as there have been, so I'm hoping that you will stick around and continue this fly tying journey with me. And I would also like to know what day suits you the best for these videos to be uploaded, so if you click the link right here you can vote on the day that you prefer. So thank you very much for sticking around, and let's start tying this nymph. The hook I have is a Hanák. This is their H300BL, which is what they call their original check nymph. This one is a size 12, and for the bead I have a brass bead, a black brass bead, 2.8 millimeters. The other materials we're going to use are some ribbing, and this is made with ultra wire in small and red. Then for the body I'm going to use some dubbing, and this is some Nat Brown Opossum. Then I'm going to build up a back on the fly. The whole abdomen is going to have a slightly darker color with this pheasant tail, and this one is just a natural, or in a natural color, but you could also switch this up in any dyed color that you like. For the tail fibers I'm using some Coq de Leon or CdL, and this one is medium Pardo. And then for the thorax I'm going to use a mix of Peacock Herl and also a little bit of dubbing, and here I'm using some SLF Squirrel. This is the Spikey dubbing, and this is just in the color Natural Fox. And for the thread I'm using some 8/0 in red, and this is to match the color of the rib, but you could also use any other color. If you want to change up the colors of this pattern you can. You can really change these colors up to suit any nymph that you want to imitate. And here I'm taking the thread down just a little bit down the bend, and I'm going to put or take about 5-6 fibers of this Coq de Leon, and here for these we want these to be about the length of the body or slightly shorter, and so I'm going to tie these in right here at the back, and then 1 turn underneath to splay these out a little bit, and then 1 turn over to lock these in place. And then I'm going to take some of this red wire, this is in a size small, and I'm just going to tie this in, or tie these 2 in at the same time, going up the whole length of the body, trying to keep these quite in place, and then you can just cut the ends off. And then on my way down I'm going to take some of this natural pheasant tail. I'm going to take about 6 fibers or so, and here I'm going to cut off the tips so we get a nice tying point, and then I'm going to tie these in on my way down. And bring these down right to the tails. Then on the way up I'm going to dub the body, and this is this natural brown opossum. And here you don't need too much, you just want to cover the thread and building up a nicely tapered but not so full of a body. And then I'm going to bring up the pheasant tail to form the back. A few turns to tie this down. Make sure this stays quite in the middle, and then I'm going to bring up the wire one turn at the back, and then with open spiral turns bring this up about 5-6 or so, and you can just, if you have the back or the pheasant tail here moving a little bit to one side, you can just push this back, make sure that it stays right in the middle, and then come up to the thread, and we can then tie off the wire, bend and break this one away, and then we can also cut off the pheasant tail. And I'm just going to put in a few turns to build up the thorax a little bit thicker than the rest. And then for the thorax I'm going to take 2 peacock herls. I'm going to cut off the ends and tie these 2 in at the same time on the side. And for now we can just leave it hanging. And here you can choose how long you want your thorax to be. And I want this to be slightly longer than the length of the bead. And then to incorporate some dubbing into this, I'm going to split my thread, so spin it counterclockwise, and then with a dubbing needle we can separate these 2 pieces of thread. And then I'm going to take this SLF spiky dubbing, and I'm just going to take a really small amount. And I'm going to insert this in between the 2 pieces of thread. Then close the thread, and now we have this here in between, and we can then spin this up, this time clockwise. This is going to cord up the thread and make this into more like a chenille with a whole lot of, all the fibers are going to stick out a lot more to the sides. And then I'm also going to incorporate the peacock herl, so I'm going to wrap this around the dubbing, and this is going to make a really nice and full thorax, and also going to protect the peacock herl, as we have the thread here in the middle. And then I'm just going to wind this up the whole way up to the bead, and then tie everything off. We can then cut away the peacock herls, and then the last thing to do is to build up a small collar, and I'm going to do this with the whip finish. So I'm going to apply just a little bit of glue onto the thread, and then make 1 turn, and then I'm going to take my whip finish and 1, 2, 3 turns, pull tight. We can then cut off the thread, and then we can brush out a little bit of this dubbing and make it really nice looking. We have these antron fibers sticking out almost like a veil here at the back, and also this peacock herl is going to make a nice dark full thorax on the fly. And then to protect the thread wraps or this collar just a little bit more, I'm going to apply just a little bit of glue all around, and this is going to soak in into the wraps and make this really nice and secure. There we have the Candy Cane Nymph. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. See you next time, and happy tying.